Hey friends, it's Missy again. Thanks so much for joining me today. I'm here with a layout and video for Cut to You, which is an online digital cut file store created by my friend Gwen. I used to be design team mates with her over at Coco Vanilla a few years ago, and she's an awesome scrapbooker and she creates really beautiful cut files. And this month is her 1 year anniversary for her store. So she asked me to be a guest designer to help her celebrate. And so of course I said yes, and I want to thank her for inviting me to join her this month. So I'm going to play with one of her newer cut files. If it's not in her store now, it will be soon. It's just being released this month. It's called Spring Roses, and I cut it on white cardstock. And my first thought was I wanted to back the flowers with patterned paper, and then I changed my mind and thought, no, I'm going to leave them open and I want to paint them different colors. So I'm using white gesso here and my finger just to smudge some down to prep my paper for mixed media. It's going to allow me to smudge and blend and add a little bit of liquid, and it's not going to destroy the paper. So I recently used some of my gelatos on a project, and I had forgotten how fun and awesome they are. And so I thought that I would color these flowers using my gelatos. And so I pulled them out, and all I'm doing is scribbling some color down, dipping my finger into a little bit of water, and then smudging and blending the color. I can never use just one color. I love to blend multiple colors. And so for example, this pink flower, I'm using some red and some pink, and then just using my finger in some water to kind of smudge and blend it. And then you can just add more color to make it darker and then smudge it, and it's awesome. Gelatos are, I call them a cross between an oil pastel. It kind of has the same consistency as oil pastel. Also like a crayon, if you feel like you're coloring, and then also like lipstick, because they look like little tubes of chapstick. And you basically just twist the bottom like lipstick and it comes up, and then you scribble down some color and then smudge it. You could probably use a brush to smudge it. I like to use my fingers whenever I can because I feel like I'm in more of a control with that, and I like the way it looks when I smudge using my fingers. So that's all I'm doing here. Anybody can use gelatos. I got all of these at Michael's. Now I've collected them over the years, so this is not a recent purchase, but I do believe they still have packages of gelatos there. But they're by Faber-Castell, and they are awesome. And I need to use them more because they're fun, they're fast, easy, and yeah, they blend really easily. And the gesso helps with the blending process a lot also. So the color scheme that I chose here is based on the Coco Vanilla Happiness collection. I haven't used that in a long time. I bought it when it first came out, and there you can see the beautiful colors. Got all those flowers done. But I haven't used that collection since I first bought it, and I've only made one layout with it so far. And so I thought this was the perfect chance to use it again. So that's where my color scheme comes from. Now I'm going to use white cardstock as my background. Since I colored all those flowers and I'm going to leave them open, I didn't want to use a pattern paper as a background because I felt like the flowers would get lost in a busy pattern. So white is going to be the way to go here, and I want to make my own background, mostly with a solid blue color here. So what you just saw me do there was coat this cardstock with clear gesso to again prep the page, and then I'm going to use some of my shimmer sprays. The two colors here are Jenny B Blue Vibes and Vibes Deep Blue Sea, and so it's kind of a turquoise aqua color and then a little bit of a darker, more of a navy color, and these both have shimmer. And I went with the blue color for the background because most of the flowers are the bigger flowers on that cut file are orange and pink and red. So I thought blue would be pretty. And I don't want to get carried away. I get carried away a lot making backgrounds. I didn't want to cover the whole sheet. I just wanted to do kind of like this little splotchy area that you see here, and just kind of create sort of a messy, artsy, splotchy bit of color back there. So I like to add the sprays and add a little bit of water, and then just basically pick up the whole sheet of paper and turn it this way and that way, and just let the water and the color run and spread and blend on its own, and you're going to get a really fun abstract looking shape versus if you were to use a brush. I also love to use the packaging technique. Sometimes I don't. It just depends on my mood. It just depends. Every layout's different. Anyway, so this is dry. You can see the pretty shimmer there. I love the variation in the blues, and it looks totally different when you add the cut file and the picture back on top of it, you know. I think it just brings everything to life. Okay, so off camera I went through that happiness collection, and I picked out a lot of things that I thought I might use from the die cuts, and then I'm going to cut a couple things from pattern paper. Look at the colors in this collection. I mean, come on. Ugh, I cannot gush enough about these colors. They're so, so pretty. I love pink. I love blue, yellows, oranges, and then those florals. They look so, the florals on the paper and in this ephemera pack, they're like watercolor, and they're so pretty. And I've been hoarding this collection. Like I said, I've only made one layout with it. That big floral cluster die cut that I have underneath the bottom of the photo there, I've been hoarding that. There's only one of those, I think. And I just didn't want to use it, because once I use it, it's used. I know you feel that struggle. I know you feel me with that, because I'm sure everybody that scrapbooks that's watching this video has something that they have hoarded, and you understand that struggle. But yeah, I'm going to use it because I like the way it looks, and I need to use it. It's not doing any good just sitting on my shelf, so let's just go for it. Now I am going to pull in some pops of green with these little leaf die cuts. I wish I had a huge never-ending pack of those, because I could use leaf stems on just about anything. And I think I used all but one from this collection here. So I'm going to start to work on layering here. I'm going to add a little bit of white tissue paper behind my photo there, just to give it a little bit of a subtle, messy border. And then I'm going to use these two little label pieces that I fussy cut from that paper. And you're only going to see a little bit of each one, so I'm going to cut the other half off so it's not wasted, and I'll be able to use that on something else later on. And then I'm going to add some adhesive foam behind the photo. This is just going to give it a little bit of dimension, and I'm going to tuck the photo underneath that one flower there, and then I'm going to glue the cut file down flat. Not the whole thing, just like the centers of the flowers, so the edges can kind of roll and pop up and create some dimension. So I want to, since I've got the leaves that are green, I wanted to bring in some more colors, or not colors, some more of that color. So I'm going to add a little bit of tangled thread over to the right. I love tangled thread. I just think it adds really fun texture and color. Whenever you need a pop of color in a certain area, I think it's a great thing to use, because it's relatively cheap. And yeah, you can control how much you use. It adds little fun pops of something detailed in whatever area you need it. So I'm going to start to glue things down here very carefully. I don't want to move anything, because I'll never get it back exactly the way I had it. So I always get asked, and I keep forgetting to show it. Again, I swear I tell myself to do things and I forget. The glue that I'm using, I always get questions about the glue that's in my fine liner bottle. It's the Scotch Tacky Glue, and I used to find it at Michael's all the time, but now recently, every time I go there, it is out. And surprisingly enough, I've been finding it at Walmart on their scrapbook aisle, and the bottles are a little bit smaller, but they do have it. And someone asked me if I would actually show that bottle, and I keep forgetting. It's not that I'm not doing it, I just keep forgetting to do it. But that's the glue that I put in this bottle here, and it is awesome. I love that glue. It works wonderfully, and it comes out of the glue bottle here great. I've never had it clog or anything like that. So I'm cutting up some things. I cut the white border off of that blue butterfly, and I cut this little Hello Beautiful piece from a pattern paper. My title is going to be Smile, and that is from this collection also. There's an entire pack of basically just handwritten words like that, and I love when you have pieces like that that just kind of help you put your title together without even having to think about it. So, because my photo is not a big event, it's just a fun everyday picture of my daughter. So I felt like a short and sweet, succinct word for a title was appropriate for that. And I'm going to put it right on top of the photo there. Down here at the bottom, I fussy cut a couple more butterflies from that pattern paper that I just showed you. Added a little bit of light blue thread down underneath this pink flower and that green butterfly. And then I'm going to glue it all down. I was so happy to find a green butterfly so I could pull in another pop of that color. Because I hadn't originally planned on using green. And then once I added the leaves, I thought, oh, that's a really pretty color to add into this color scheme. So sometimes things change as you go and you just roll with it. And sometimes you add another color when you hadn't planned on it, but that's the way it works. So I'm going to keep playing around here and try to figure out a couple more pieces. I'm going to add this little tab sticker up at the top. It's got a pretty watercolor look to it. I'm almost done here. I'm only going to do a couple more things. I decided to go ahead and do my journaling. I usually do my journaling last, but not this time. I am going to use my ruler. I got that at joann.com for a few bucks, and I love it because I can never write my journaling in straight lines, and so that helps me get it nice and straight. And I'm using a black fine tip Sharpie. And then the last thing I'm going to do is pull out my stash of sequins, and these are all from Spiegel Mom's Scraps, the best sequins around. And I'm just going to add some to the centers of the flowers, not all of the flowers, but some, and then scatter some blue and green ones around the layout as well. And I believe that's going to wrap it up. I do add some more splatters in the green and the blue, but yeah, that's the final layout. I love how this turned out. I love this cut file and this color scheme. I think it turned out really, really pretty. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. Now, let me tell you that you can get 20% off all of Gwen's cut files, the digital cut files over in her store this month, July, if you use the code HEARTMISSY. And I'm going to link all that down below, or you'll be able to see the code. And I'll leave the link to her store. She has some really beautiful and fun, awesome cut files. So yeah, help her celebrate by go and checking out some of her cut files and get your hands on some. And I'll be back later this month with another layout featuring more of her cut files. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. I hope you have a great weekend.